Okay, so I have my emulator instance running because in order to save the time, I already started my emulator. Other than that, I'm going to create a new project. Going to give a 2.1 or some name. I really don't know, so I want to give a random string. Uh, so still, I'll go with the highest one. I really don't want. So this is the one. I'm going to copy most of the codes from the previous exercise. So know what's a package name. Seems we did not delete most of the codes. Let me clear that. Seems we had a menu over there, so I'm going to copy that as well. And still the error because of strings. Okay, icon missing. Now everything all set to clear. So let me close all the unnecessary projects. So check for close unrelated projects. I would recommend keeping one project open at a time. If you are working on a different project, make sure you close the any project whatever you worked before. So that will make sure you do not update the wrong files. Chances are there. That too in this case I am trying to copy paste it, so most of the file name would be same. So I would end up editing some file which is not relevant to this application. Of course I did not update the manifest. I need to update that. Okay. I think you can copy that also from the previous exercise. Benefit of having the prefixes removed, I can easily copy paste. Otherwise, you need to update it according to the package name. So now my manifest looks like a minimum supported version 8 and the maximum is 21, and which is the latest as far as my computer. It may vary depending on your install. Okay, so now this is the shopping list application we created just before the previous breakup exercises. This app can store a list of items. So we also had an intent, and in order to handle the data to and fro, like we can get the send the data from one activity to another, and also we can get back data from an activity which is getting closed. I already gave enough exercise. I mean, example about request and result codes. Provided if any questions are there, we may see a revisit session on that as well. But as of now, I'm going to assume you're comfortable with request and result codes. So, which takes care of, handling the parcelable objects such as bundles between the activities. So, two scenarios: a data can be sent from a base activity to another activity, and the second instance may be bringing back a data which from an activity which is about to get closed and send the data to a base activity. So for that I had to use a start activity for result instead of calling a generic instance. I have an option menu here. Of course I have a context menu also. Option menu gives me a choice of adding a new item. So that thing has been written here. So I'm calling start activity for result instead of just start activity, because I need a status of the activity which is opened from the base activity, like shopping list activity. I need to know what happened to the activity. I need to get update whenever this particular activity is getting closed. So item activity, and it has a request code attached. As I said, it could be any number. Should be better to have a constant in place, because I can easily refer it from there. And I would need to implement on activity result in order to get back the status of that activity which is opened. So whenever that particular activity gets closed, if at all any results have been set, it will also check whether incoming results are coming. So first case, you should verify the request code. If the request code is available, make sure you also check if any result code is also coming. If a result code comes, you can get the bundle object from a argument given in the on activity result. So intent has been given an instance like data. From the data we get the extras and unpack them, of course, which is a bundle. I need to open it, and in this case it is looking like I build a hash map of array list, and I also convert the hash map of array list into a JSON and save it into a preference manager. So this whole block does the work. So up to this we have done. So let me see how the preview is looking like. So let me run the exercise. It doesn't appear here, something wrong. Okay, time to reset it. Chances are there sometime your emulator may not appear, so that time you can reset the ADB with the small arrow and it will hang for some time. It will try to connect with the running instance of your AVD, Android virtual device. Try to connect, but not to be expected the result will go successful. Sometime it may also fail. I think my case going terribly wrong. Trying to connect. Seems to be disconnected. Okay, yeah. Now I got it back. So my emulator name appears here. Make sure your emulator appears here. That's the only way to push the update from the Eclipse and the emulator take it. In this case, I have my phone also attached, so that also appears here, but I'm going to test on the emulator. Now I can hit run to track it from the logcat. I think my app has got installed. So we also have an option menu here. Option menu is nothing but a menu appears as of now. I mean after 3.0 onwards, a menu icon appears on the action bar itself. Android almost recommending this kind of a menu system, and starting from 3.0 onwards they also added support packages for previous versions. We will see that how to add a backward compatibility and for a lower versions than 3.0, and that also can have an action bar, but you need to do a slightly roundabout coding. But as of now, Android recommends keep the menu in the action bar, so we have kept it. And we also give a backward compatibility to our app, but we remove the action bar for the devices having lower version than 3.0. So you know that we have added a separate style for, uh, I mean, for this project. So we have a separate style attached to for attached that we have a devices having a version API level 11 and above, nothing but 3.0 and above, will get the style sheet from here, and it will add the theme holo light, which has the built-in action bar support, whereas the previous devices will call a theme light uh, for previous devices which doesn't have an action bar. So this is how somehow we added the backward compatibility. Of course, our application will work for all the devices, but only problem may be those devices having a least compatibility will not have an action bar. But of course, the menu can be called by pressing the menu button, and we are sure that those old devices contain that physical button as well. Okay. Right now, the logic is pretty simple. This application right now has the ability to have an item name added. Item successfully added, and it also saves in the preference manager. We already discussed about, we convert the hash map into a JSON object, JSON string, and we save it into a preference manager. So if I go back to my application, of course if I close it, any attempt to open the application, I will still have my data remaining. So it is saving. Let me add one more. Couple of more. I've added. Now I want to give a, this is a inserting, like right now we add the data. I want to give a edit feature so that the user can modify the content, and I also want to give a delete option, so if he want he can delete the content. And of course I need to give a view feature also, so edit and view both are combined, so clicking it will show the particular description or anything whatever we enter. So we need to give a couple of features to this application. I already have a context menu added, which is invoked when a long pressing a list item. So it gives me an edit and delete option. So when the user want to edit it, he has to press long press the list item in order to edit or delete it. I had to add the controls and flows. I simply display them. So if the user select edit, it should go to the next activity and give a edit option. Of course, the same activity I'm going to display, but which will have a slightly different UI where the user can edit it. And another one, delete it. I don't need to take to another activity. I can simply delete the content. Maybe I may put a warning dialogue, so I would cover maybe in the afternoon session, how to add up dialogues, pop-ups. It's quite simple in Android, so that also we will see today. So let us at least give a edit option. So edit is going to be a combined one, like viewing and editing both are going to be same. So let me start with the edit. Before that, I want to see what is the layout, how it is looking like for item activity. Right now we are using it for adding a new item. See, hard coding I won't recommend. I have hard coded the text here. So we have a practice. We keep any text anywhere used in Android application. I want to have it called from strings itself, so that I can control it. I can add a new language files or any other thing. If you maintain a centralized place, in this case the string is coming, string.xml coming quite handy. So I'm going to give a name, item add. I also explain, like set title will change the title of your action bar. So let me say get resource, get string. This is a best one to have it. And I'm going to need couple of strings. So I need to dynamically handle them. Start from how to capture the edit. So you already know the context menu or option menu. Anything, a view can be added programmatically or through XML. In fact, our option menu gets the UI from a XML file. So we have inflated using get menu inflator for option menu. Similar thing I can also do for context menu. But I've chosen here to, since my UI is quite limited, I have created edit and delete. This is also hard coded numbers. I don't want to have hard coded numbers. So let me go back to utility. Whatever number, all it need to be unique, that's all. This is also hard coded one, we have to change it. Edit delete. So let me modify the strings. So keep this practice. Try to avoid hard coding. Don't rush your coding. If it is time taking, also never mind. I need a stable, output. So having a better practice always will make sure your quality and stability of your product. So I have modified everything. No constant, no hard coded strings or integers. If I find it, I would see here, here, here. So I've almost removed the hard coding. So typically there is nothing. I think welcome also I can replace it, but let me focus on the coding and then I'll come back to it. Right now your context menu has, of course, in order to trigger the context menu, I need a register for context menu and attach to a view. It should be a widget, could be a text view, button, list view, or anything else. In this case, it's a list view because any items on the list view is clicked, a long press, a context menu appears. So I can press on any item and this particular thing would appear. It means I'm pressing on an item of a list view. So the question here is, how do I capture the item ID or item name of the particular event the context menu triggers? Context menu already have a on context item selected, but I need to know which item is getting selected. If it is a simple one like hard coded one, I can easily find it from here itself, but I need to know which item on the list view is clicked. Mostly that option is also available. Adapter context menu info. If your context menu is triggered by long pressing a list view item, you can call the adapter context menu info object created, and that can be, it has to be typecasted because the menu item which does not know what kind of widget it has got associated. So it doesn't know whether it's a button or list view. So I need to tell him, no, whatever the context menu is attached is with an adapter or a list view. So that's the reason I had to typecast it. Item get menu info. So right now, an instance of a context menu with the adapter object also implemented means a list view will display a content from an adapter. We know it. An adapter is a way to bind a UI or a layout and the data. So in this case, a simple adapter has been used in order to populate items on the list view. So adapter contains the list view, for example, each items. So I have built an adapter instance from the context menu on item select on context item selected. From it, I am going to check, for example, display facility details message. We are displaying from items get position. Since it is a array list of hash map, I'm going to display utility item name. It means this array list actually populating the items in the list view. So array list of, I'm going to get the index of the item which is getting clicked. So from the items I'm passing the index. From the index I'm getting back one object having a key called item name. So since it is an object type, I need to typecast it for a string as well. Because the array list of hash map is having an object specification, so I need to tell every time when I try to invoke a value from this particular hash array list of hash map, I need to typecast it. So item name is a string, whereas the item quantity is of type either double or integer. I don't know what we put, but we need to typecast accordingly. So now whenever I click edit, so let it fully populate. If I click on cherry, selecting edit will display which item has got clicked. Orange. So I can find which item a context menu has got associated with. Because that particular item only I need to give an edit option or either delete it. So I need to know which item is getting clicked. So how I can get it, because I have on context item selected, from the menu item parameter I will have access to a particular items and its detail. So from that item get menu info gives me an adapter context menu info object, and from the object I am finding which position. For example, the first position is 0, second one is 1, 2, like that it goes. So from that I am passing that value to an items which is actually displaying the content, and this item what I am displaying right now in the toast is the item name. So having a key called item name, it will search in this items with the given position and retrieve the name. So same thing I can use it for delete as well, but let me go ahead giving a edit option. Okay, we already have an option menu which is calling item activity. I want to use the same. Provided with additional intents sent. So this is add item request code. I may want to have another request code for it in order to avoid confusion. Or shall we use the same? Okay, let me keep it a different one. I'm going to use the same activity for editing purpose as well. I need to send the data. There are various ways, but I'm showing one item ID I'm casting it double because item ID is of random number, which is having a double data type, and item name string. Like that, I need to send everything. I remember there was totally 5. So quantity now I'm sending all the items and bundling it into a intent object, and I'm calling start activity for result with a different request code. It means a new activity will be launched, but this is going to contain some bundle, whereas the previous one where the user tried to add an item does not contain any bundle. So that itself will give you a clear picture of a differentiation of both the activities, but still let me extend this code. So case, I need to add one more case here. Okay, I'll extend a little later this part. Right now I have a different request code. If I run the code, I haven't added anything substantial. Long pressing, calling edit, takes me to another activity, but it is empty. But I want to have the items and details populated. I want to have the save is updated to update instead of save or update. Yeah, I'm going to change the text. I want to change the text instead of add new item. I want to have edit item here, and I need to populate all the contents. So how I'm going to do it? I'm going to item activity. First part, the moment after the initialization, I need to get the bundles if there is any bundle coming in. If extras not null mean there is some extra coming, it is primarily for edit screen. The bundle value will be there only for edit screen, whereas nothing would be there for insert screen. So now changing the text of a save button to a different one. We have already added, I remember, otherwise if not, it's here already, item edit menu, I can reuse it. And also I want to change title What's the name I gave? Item edit. So if any bundle comes, the text will have a different representation here, but let me verify before checking. For example, adding a new item, it has everything as usual, whereas when I try to edit an item, it will show me the same activity, but only thing, the text has got changed. Edit item here has appeared, and the button text also got changed to edit. So right now we have modified only two. So let us capture other results so that we can display them here as well. Item name, set, set text. Get string with a key utility, item name. So here itself I start populating them. Item name, item quantity, item price, the error comes because they edit text, so I can make a double to string this way. This will make the double value a number converted back to a string. Otherwise you can simply use a concatenation plus string, but this is a recommended way. So price is also a double. Price and then notes, that is string, and we also have item ID also coming. I need to keeping -1 for default one, which we always use it. So item new. To start with, I am keeping it it's a default value. The value will get changed when so now let me look at this. So long pressing an item, clicking edit, display the data. So it brought back all the data from the previous activity to this, and it pre-populated everything for you. Now I need to click edit in order to have it edited. Right now this particular part does only insertion. Okay, this also can be used. Instead of this one, item new, I'm going to call item ID. If it is new, it will call a different result code, otherwise it will call another result code. It means it's for editing purpose. If an item ID is new, it will go to a add item result code where the item will be inserted. Whereas a different item ID comes, a randomized one which we have it for our reference, which will call a different result code so that it will go to a different block in a on activity result. So based on the item ID. If a bundle is there, item ID would be different, otherwise item ID will be item new only. So accordingly this block will get executed. Empty field is not allowed, of course I need to put it into a strings file, but now I also need to verify whether the bundles coming in. If what we call result code, right? This is for cancel back button. Let me so if a user click back, it will display user did not edit any item, otherwise it will come here. A request code, different request code has been called, but still most of the parts are same. Extras, here itself I'm checking it, but anyway, since I have a different block here, I'm going to call it same, but only if you edit. So all strings, the edited one will come here. In this case, item ID is not going to be the same. Item ID is going to be from extras get double utility item. Instead of add, I need to do something else. Okay, I need the index now. Item ID is not an index according to us. Okay, I may need one more string constant. I need to send the index of an item also, so let me update here. Where it is, this one. The position also I need to push it, so I need to edit that particular position. So item index, info dot position. Sending a position as well, so here I need to capture it. That also I can keep initial value new -1 because I do not know initially. Then I'll be modifying here. I need one more intent. This is for put extra utility item index. I don't need to add this to extra for new because that won't have any index clicked. So in the else block I have added, if a new item is there, it won't have a index or anything defined. So here the edit part, set item set will edit the item in the given index. So this is a edited one, modified one, which will update it, and of course it will save it to a JSON, convert it to a JSON, and also it will update the adapter. So I hope I'm requesting in the right block. Clicking edit. I'm changing it to this is coming wrongly. Okay, I will check it. Now the value has got changed. This is repeating twice. Value will be changed. It could be any value can be changed. Put cherry here. So the given index, the value is getting changed. One error is there. Obvious reason. I'm calling item name. So now I have given a edit option also, and it is updating. So if I go back and again open, the items are there. and also I want to give a view option, so that we will see how I can do it. Item ID, position. Okay. I want to give a view option as well. View option means the user is not going to do anything but only can view the item. He cannot modify anything. So how I can do that? By clicking the list item itself, I want to display that. So set on item, click listener, view on item, click listener. So this will make sure anytime an item is getting clicked, I can go to a different intent or activity. So it itself has a position given to me. Instead, I don't need to depend on context menu. It is only for clicking, not for long pressing it. So I need to have a intent called going to call the same. This won't be working. Instead, I can call get base context. Both are same. The position by default comes, and I don't need a. So I don't need that CD4 prefix. I don't need activity for result because it's only for viewing. So let me say at least I could view it, then I'll change some code. Index nodes. So clicking it, just tapping on it takes me to the other activity. I need to hide the edit and change the text to just view or something else, so that it will work for viewing only purpose, so the user cannot edit anything. So all you need to go back. So for viewing, he can click and view the content description. For editing, he has to click long press and then go for editing and come here. So right now I'm going to update the code a little further. Maybe the time has come. Go, guys can go for a lunch break, then I'll extend this code. So afternoon we have to complete the view and delete option, which is quite simpler. So hardly it will take another 10 or maybe 10 to 15 minutes to have that feature on. But I really don't want to disturb your lunch break, so you can go for a lunch break and make sure you guys come back with the given time, and I'll also upload the code to a developer port.